wonder! How many goodly creatures are there here! How beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world that has such people in it!
Hello, I'm Paulo Cereda. Thanks for having me. I would like to tell you a bit about the Island of TeX activities in the last year. For those who do not know anything about us, the Island of TeX started as a small group of two friends trying to improve the tech ecosystem. Nowadays, the island acts as a friendly hub to community-based tech-related projects, still mostly focused to the tooling side of things. The last year has been challenging for us. Roadmap changes, lack of resources, server limitations, yet resilience, persistence, and, of course, a bit of good humor made the island even stronger, with new joiners, community support, bold plans, and even a brighter future for the tech ecosystem. The Island of TeX provides Docker images for easily reproducible builds as well as an official response to the need for continuous integration. Our images were among the first using vanilla TeX Live, providing the required tools for running software included in TeX Live, for example, Java Virtual Machine, Python, and so forth. Additionally, we provide TeX Live releases from 2014 on and let the user decide whether they want to pull all the documentation and source files into their CI configuration. We officially publish our images as techlive/techlive at Docker Hub as well. Docker Hub is the world's largest repository of container images with an array of content sources, including container community developers, open source projects, and independent software vendors building and distributing their code in containers. We feel honored to maintain and provide one of the most complete and comprehensive TeX-Live Docker images available in the tech ecosystem. Several organizations now base their image on ours. For instance, Dante, the German-speaking tech user group. Thank you very much for trusting our builds. Most recently, given certain characteristics of a typical TeX-Live install, our shared CI runners could not meet the requirements to properly build and generate entries in our registry for historic and current images. For example, failure due to timeout and disk space constraints. At first, we believed this was just a temporary issue. For example, having a job assigned to a weak CI runner, and subsequent jobs would eventually have our images correctly built. Alas, we had no luck. Failure rates were increasing at an alarming rate. Vit Novotny reached out to us to discuss potential build improvements to our images and joined our Docker team. A new Islander. His contributions were amazing. The build process soon became way more robust and reliable than ever. However, the blocking issue with our shared CI runners was still haunting us. We had to do something. We agreed to reach out to the tech community and ask for spare computational resources that could host one of our CI runners. I then wrote an email to the TeX Live mailing list on May 12 and hoped for the best. In less than 30 minutes, we got 3 replies offering help. In that same day, the island already had a new dedicated CI runner. A couple of days later, 2 more runners were added to our pool. The response from the tech community was fantastic. A special thanks to Uwe, Eric, Mirai, Paul, and of course, Dante and the Institute of Mathematics of the Czech Academy of Sciences. We really appreciate it. Our Docker images are saved because of you. Also, thanks to all who send us messages of encouragement, from electronic mail to public support via our Matrix chat room. Incidentally, Mirai became an Islander as well, joining our team of Docker experts. Thanks, Mirai. Apparently, dragons are very good at building images. Still, there's a long road to go. The TUG Live images are becoming more and more versatile, but we still only feature full-fledged installations. So there are new frontiers waiting for us, splitting the images by scheme and improving layer friendliness. Docker experts are invited to join our quest to solve these issues. From all those projects using our TUG Live images, TechDoc Online is our most prominent contribution in the field, an online TUG and LaTeX documentation lookup system based on C10's JSON API. Alas, TechDoc Online has not seen much activity in the last year, but it has a long way to go until it is not only a successor of the former TechDoc.net, but an even better replacement. Some of our ideas include a source code lookup mode based on a combination of TechDoc, KPSEWitch, and file output, and runtime macro definition capabilities with a front end for TechDev. In general, the front end should get a UI overhaul at some point in order to make it friendlier, more responsive, and more accessible. We are also planning to include an optional analytics layer based on anonymous browsing and queries, but do not worry, at this point we are only interested in counting visits for starters, something which does not track anyone. Our generous sponsor of world's most accessed TechDoc online instance at techdoc.org, Stephen Kotvitz, would love to see this feature implemented as well. By the way, thanks for updating and maintaining techdoc.org, Stephen. If anyone is interested in tackling one or more of the aforementioned features, definitely get in touch with us. All you need is some kind of programming background. Picking up Kotlin and contributing is something we can help you with. And if you have further ideas for improvement for this or any of our projects, our issue trackers are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We believe that community feedback is key to building software the community actually finds useful. Apart from the web-based end, we should expect improvements to our command line interface tooling in the near future as well. Take, for instance, our lovely Albatross, a tool for finding system fonts that provide a certain glyph. Some of our ideas include report customization, support for output formats, for example JSON or CSV, and caching. We also plan extending the glyph lookup based on specific files and directories, so any font in the file system, even the ones not installed, could be properly inspected. We recently released a patched version of CheckSites, our tool for checking missing or unused references, in order to address an outstanding issue due to a breaking BibLaTeX update. This tool also has an interesting roadmap. Some of our ideas include a complete rewrite from Lua to Kotlin, work in progress, and moving to a modular approach in which we have a proper BibTeX parser and a command line interface. The ultimate goal for a BibTeX parser is to produce native code for all major operating systems alongside with a Java virtual machine compliant bytecode for major vendors as well as a JavaScript backend. This would be the perfect place to talk about our plans for Arara, as they share many goals. But before we do that, we want to celebrate with you. So let us go back in time for a bit. 10 years ago, the very first version of Arara, the cool tech automation tool, was released. It was a humble flight for such a little bird. Little did we know, a delightful story about friendship, tech, community, and noisy birds was about to be written. There's a famous quote along the lines of, "If at first you do not succeed, call it version 1.0. Version 1 of Arara was also the first public release, dated April 4, 2012. Nothing much was there besides the core concepts that still exist today, rules and directives. Amusingly, the first version offered only a log output as an additional feature. There was no verbose mode. The log file was a gathering of strings, error, and output from the sequence of commands specified through directives, and that was it. The first version had a serious drawback. Compilation feedback was not in real time, and consequently, no user input was allowed. For version 2, real-time feedback was introduced when the tool was executed in verbose mode. Two other features were included in this version: a flag to set an overall execution timeout in milliseconds as a means to prevent a potentially infinite execution, and a special variable in the rule context for handling cross-platform operations. So far, Arara was only a tiny project with a very restricted user base. However, for version 3, a qualitative goal was reached. This tool became international, with localized messages in English, Brazilian Portuguese, German, Italian, Spanish, French, Turkish, and Russian. Further, new features such as configuration file support and rule methods brought Arara to new heights. As a direct consequence, the lines of code virtually doubled from previous release. When the counter stopped at version 3, we decided it was time for Arara to graduate and finally be released in TUG Live. Then things really changed in our lives. Given the worldwide coverage of TUG distributions, Arara silently became part of the daily typographic tool belt of many users. Version 4 was definitely a quantum leap from previous releases. New features included a REPL workflow, that is, rule evaluation on demand as opposed to prior to execution, an improved rule format, support for multi-line directives, partial directive extraction mode, commands and triggers as abstraction layers, and an improved lookup strategy for configuration files. Version 5 featured a major rewrite from Java to Kotlin. We mainly worked on features from user feedback, especially directory support and the processing of multiple files. We got hooked by the idea of aligning release schedules of Arara with TUG Live releases, enabling us to make small breaking changes more often. We had big plans and started to work on version 6 right after releasing version 5. As with check sites, we walked the extra mile and Arara went from a monolithic implementation to a modular one, plus an enhanced feature set and optimized workflow. Version 6 was split between an API, a core implementation, the engine, and a command line interface application to separate concerns. This was the first step in the direction of splitting out components that are bound to one platform. New features included specifying command line options to be passed to Arara's session map, default preambles, expansion within directives, safe mode, and rule improvements towards safety and optimization. For version 7, we wanted to take larger steps towards platform independence. Some components had to be rewritten. Some needed different interfaces for different platforms. It is still a heavy work in progress, but in the end, we hope to provide an even more multi-talent tool. Version 7 still targets JVM, but the tool is already being shaped towards platform independence. New features include an interface for the most common file operations as a means to supersede Java's I/O API in the future, better error messages to indicate potential encoding problems, header mode enabled by default, and a brand new project as specification. As previously stated, we are planning the stabilization of the current projects and implementation of new modular components, as well as improving support for our tools by producing native executables by means of Kotlin Native, a technology for compiling Kotlin code to native binaries without the need of a JVM, languages like Rust and similar modern technology. We also have challenges. For starters, hardware limitations for development and testing. The development happens on Linux machines, Incidental issues specific to Windows or Mac OS are handled through voluntary testing from users who sometimes do not have development expertise. The lack of such systems in the development pool poses a problem and can hinder the long-term goals for better coverage and interoperability. See, for instance, the recent issues regarding Windows support in version 7. We had to release 3 patches in succession to properly address these issues. Also, the island has no documentation team, so we need to cover all fronts during development and release, not to mention the limited number of active developers and contributors. Again, we kindly ask the tech and software community for help in any way possible. And as always, thanks for the patience with us. Also, a special thanks to our new joiners Vit, Marai, and Jonathan. We are fortunate to have you on the team. We have many plans and hope to realize as much as possible. The island is a vibrant environment for the development of tech-related tools. We want to enhance the user experience from newbie to expert and promote use and diffusion of modern methodologies and technologies. If you are interested in helping us develop ideas or even implementing some code, visas for the island are free and easy to get, so feel free to reach out. If you are a tech ecosystem tool author and want to join us, you and your projects are always welcome. And if you want to become a tool author, even if you maybe just want to rewrite an existing tool, you're welcome as well. The Island of TeX is hosted at GitLab, whom we thank for providing us with a premium plan. It's highly appreciated. That's all from me today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Cheerio!
Hi, Paulo.
Yep.
Another to the force. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. It's been fun making those.
How much equipment do you use for that? That's my first question.
It's not that much, actually. I run these in very, very humble hardware, and it's all open source. I create my slides with Beamer.
Okay.
And then I export them as images. I use Audacity to edit, to narrate and edit audio. Then I use Kden Live to put all things together. It's a very straightforward, all 100% open source, and it's not difficult at all. You've done one, you've done all of them.
Interesting. Now let's wait to see if there's any questions.
Yeah, I think I raised a hand if you see it.
Boris has a question.
Yes, I have a question. I'm really glad that Tech Live community was able to help you, and I'm really glad about this. But we at Tech Users Group actually have some rather modest, but still some possibilities. So if you need, if a project needs a help and needs something, I would encourage you and everybody who has some interesting tech related projects to talk to us, and we absolutely would be glad to do what we can to help.
Thanks so much, Boris. I really appreciate the offer. I'm very thankful to all the tech community. The response was so fast. People reach out to me via messages, emails, and the feedback was great. And I think in the same day we sent that email, we already had like a a solution for issue, and it was great to see
Yep.
how engaged the tech community is. And right now, we actually now have a Docker team. It's Vit, Mirai, Ben, and myself, and we're doing some cleanups on the image build process, and also reach a status, and we are satisfied with the build process. We might reach out to more people, and maybe we can have more runners around the world building the images. And surely I'll get in contact with TUG and see what could be arranged for us to have more reliability of those images. And it's been a privilege to be offering those images for the tech community. It's such a pleasure, and I thank you everybody for every help in any way possible.